President Trump says the governor of Puerto Rico is, quote, terrible amid growing protests on the island. Yesterday, Ricardo Rosselló announced he would not seek re-election in 2020, but he's refusing to step down. People are furious over leaked messages involving the governor that include jokes about Hurricane Maria victims. This comes after two of his former top officials were arrested on charges of corruption. The intrepid CBS News correspondent David Begnaud is on the ground in San Juan. David, I know you're busy reporting. Thank you so much for joining us. Give us your perspective of what is going on the ground.
Listen, Paula, when you look at the videos that we've tweeted, put on social media, and are running on CBSN, I've never covered anything like it. I would estimate there's more than 500,000 people. They are loud, they are unified, and they are convinced that they will at some point force the governor of the island to resign. Now, you got to remember, 24 hours ago, he said, listen, I will resign as head of my party. I won't seek re-election. But even though it's shameful what I did, even though I apologize, even though I understand you all are mad, even though I understand you're turning out in large numbers, I'm going to show you that I will be better through the work I do. And that was like pouring gasoline on an open flame. Today, people showed up before we were told they were going to show up. Grandmothers, teachers, librarians. I talked to a 14-year-old young man who you will see tonight on the CBS Evening News who was so articulate. He used the word astonished. He said, I am astonished to see so many Puerto Ricans come together. And Paula, in a place where people are classically divided along party lines and proud of it, quite frankly, they are united when it comes to this. Everyone wants the governor to go. But he has said, I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, David, so if the governor won't step down voluntarily, what other options are there?
So good question. So there's the impeachment process, but nobody in the legislature seems to be moving in that direction or talking about that just quite yet. If the governor were to resign, the lieutenant governor / secretary of state, it's that one person does the same job, he would or she would be the next person in line. But guess what? The person who used to have the job resigned last week because they were caught up in this chat scandal. What's the chat scandal? 889 pages were published by the Center for Investigative Reporting in Puerto Rico that detail some pretty ugly, hurtful, and profane things that the governor and 11 members and associates of his staff said. But beyond that, the bigger story is that there were words, statements, and conversations that happened that people believe and observers think are tantamount to corruption. And for so many people, they've said these chats, the Ricky chats as they call them, are the final straw. For people who've lived here, dealt with mismanagement over years, you got to remember Puerto Rico's bankrupt, right? Hurricane Maria happened 2 years ago, one of the lowest points for people here. And these Ricky chats have driven people into the streets like never before.
So it's interesting, David, a short time ago, President Trump was asked about what's going on in Puerto Rico, and he said, quote, he is the best thing that ever happened to Puerto Rico. He also noted the fact that he has hosted 2 pageants on the island that were very successful. Now, based on your conversations with people on the ground, what do you expect the reaction to that to be?
Well, I don't expect it to be pretty. However, in all fairness, some people have said, well, Trump was right. He said the governor was corrupt, and he was right. So I expect some people will say that. But by and large, when you tell Puerto Ricans that President Trump said he's the best thing for them, which he has kind of alluded to in the past, they roll their eyes politely, and sometimes they use profanity. We're actually waiting for the exact verbiage of what the president said because I want to go ahead and put it out. I'm glad you had that one quote because I did not have that confirmed. That will perhaps inflame the situation, but I got to be honest with you. I don't think anything the president's saying right now is going to get in the way of what is happening in the middle of the highway. This is a highway that connects San Juan to the rest of the island, and it is closed, both sections, 4 lanes on each side, packed with people.
David Begnaud, you want to know more, folks? Follow David on social media. He's got the story covered for you. David, thank you so much.
Thank you.